everybody. I'm the Philosopher King 2.0. We're just going to do a brief one here today. See if I can do a sound check. I don't know, that volume doesn't really seem very good, does it? Everything's maxed out. Oh, I see the problem. Guy, give me just a second. Okay. I bet you that's going to be better. How's that? Yep. Okay. I'll just come back and edit this, I suppose. So we've picked up quite a few subscribers over the last 10 days, and I wanted to take a minute to welcome you to my channel. I really appreciate it. I don't post nearly as much as a lot of other folks out there, but that doesn't mean that I'm not busy. I'm very busy. I'm out there planning for the next Black Swan event. I've got my acreage. I'm trying to be self-sufficient, all that other stuff. And that takes time and energy. And doing live streams, sometimes it falls by the wayside. But I sometimes get it into my head that I want to do something. And recently I did the video, You Should Thank a Rich Guy. And the comments on that have been interesting. I picked up a fair number of subscribers. Let's see. Let's look at the like-dislike ratio here. 63 likes and 12 dislikes. Okay. Well, it's not too bad, really. But what's really interesting is that some of the fiercest comments against me have been deleted. And actually, it's the ones that were the fiercest that I replied to. And it does make me wonder if, what's going on. Is YouTube censoring me? Are they censoring them? Are they censoring both of us? Did someone report him or me? I mean, I just don't know. But that is why I do have a parallel channel on Rumble. I would encourage you as a backup plan, because we never know what YouTube's going to do. It's run by a bunch of gender study dropouts, or worse, graduates, who have no skills whatsoever that can equip them for the real world. And they hire these people because they can do nothing else except for identify hidden bigotry and patriarchy and old colonial stuff. I mean, they're just nuts. But that's basically who runs the content moderation of YouTube. So as a backup, find me on Rumble. I'm not very good at posting videos there, but I'm working on it. I did find a way to simultaneously do podcasts both at YouTube and Rumble. I'm not doing that tonight, but it's on the list. So essentially, I wanted to thank people. We've picked up 150 to 200 new subscribers. So welcome. Please check out some of the previous videos that we've done. Some of them are quite good, and a lot of them were actually censored by YouTube. It's been a real problem. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, I think that if I had to say, like, one of the reasons why I don't put out a lot of content on YouTube is because it's like immediately it, it like goes into a black hole or something. And if they're just gonna black hole it, memory hole it, I don't know how you want to call it. It's like, well, why do I put in the time and effort? No one's gonna see it. Um, the algorithm shuts it down. If you try to promote it in any kind of way, it gets shut down because it's offended some. Well, we already talked about that. Anyway, not to go too far into the weeds on that, let me just talk just a little bit more as a follow up on that video. The one that picked up all the subscribers. You should think a rich guy seriously. So the deal with I have a feeling that some people who responded to this did not actually watch the video. I'm looking at one of the comments right now, and I don't think they read it, because at the very end of that video, I talk about how there's no money. So I mean, um, it's all fake. We're just borrowing money from um, 2 generations from now, not just our kids, but our grandkids. If you take every single dollar from every rich person and every poor person, you take every single dollar. Let me reiterate. Just do the math, folks. If you take every single dollar from every single American, you will not be able to come close to paying down the national debt. Let me rephrase that. All of the debt the nation has incurred over the years, and I'm including state, federal, the on darn it all, where'd my brain go? Unfunded liabilities. That's what I'm looking at. So there's the national debt itself, which is at like $37 trillion as I'm speaking. But then there's unfunded liabilities, which are 100 trillion plus. Then the states have their debts. And you could take the rich's money. Go ahead, take it, and it will still not solve the problem. And this has to go. Like, if we're gonna be mad at people, we got to be mad at the right people. And the number one person to be mad at is the big bankers, like the central bankers in particular, Federal Reserve. You got to go back 100 years, a little more than 100 years, to find the people to really blame for this. Although Nixon taking us off the gold standard didn't help, the wheels were already in motion, and geez, it's completely predictable what has happened. So this is my hang up with people who are all into this class warfare thing. You hate the wrong people. I'm reading this book that's against the boomers. I forget the name of it right now. And it's not really a good book. It's got some interesting little factoids in it. I like gathering facts, but as far as a coherent argument goes, it's not impressive. Basically, it's just a class warfare thing. It's just a guy who wants to hate the boomers. And the class warfare people, they just want to hate the rich people. And it has nothing to do with reality, evidence, truth. It's just envy, coveting, greed, and usually violence. And in the name, usually in the name of the common good, right? Because these people are always so self-righteous. And there's some of the people who commented seem to think that I'm rich. No, siree. Now, on standards compared to the rest of the world, by all means. I heard an anecdote a long time ago. I think it was a guy from India. He said, I want to go to America where even the poor have three TVs, something like that. So relative to certain parts of the world, yeah, I'm rich, but relative to the American economy, no. Probably right down the middle, on the middle class. But I recognize certain realities, and one of those is I've never gotten a job from a poor person, right? People who create jobs are people who have wealth. Yeah, they might want more wealth, but they invest those into making businesses and hiring people. And that's the proper way to quote spread the wealth through those kinds of voluntary mechanisms. And if you create obstacles for them to do so, then yeah, they're going to try to figure out a way to keep their money from going into worthless causes or worthless directions. That's just the way it is. So the socialist way of answering that is, well, we'll just make it harder for the rich to avoid all of our silly obstacles. No, just get rid of the obstacles. So I don't really have a bone to pick with the rich people. I definitely despise the central bankers. We should get rid of the Federal Reserve. It's the cause of a ton of our problems. And it doesn't help that we have a wide category of people in this country. We're going to call them socialists who want to as many services as they can get. They feel entitled to them, but they don't want to pay for them. They think that they can take the money from the rich and it'll work. But as I just said, you can take every dollar from the rich, from every American, and it still won't work. So these people are just like off the reservation, and because of their infatuation with using the state to coerce people into action. In other words, they're not socialists. They're actual fascists. They're like actual fascists. They think that they're the good guys. They're not. They're the bad guys. Go back 80 years ago, they would have been marching in the street shoulder to shoulder with Mussolini. That's who these people are. They don't know that because they don't know anything. They read one sentence in their social studies textbook in high school, and now they think they know something. These are the people who say, "Oh, go read a book," and all they read are headlines. At best, at most. Anyway, they really tick me off, but they're leading this country to a trajectory of violence, and they have completely the wrong enemy. One of the enemies is their own gluttonous bellies, but the other one is the central bankers, as I said. So let me just respond to a comment here real quick that I received. Just give me a second here, and then we'll wrap this up. Here we go. So I've started copying and saving these comments because YouTube is disappearing them, right? That's bad, in my opinion. And I don't know how, I don't know why. Like I said, I don't know. Am I being reported? Are they being reported? The first comment that I lost, I really wanted to respond to. It would have been a good one to do a live response to. It was like totally the classic soak the rich kind of thing. The rich need to pay their fair share, and they don't like describe what the fair share is. And in my video, I talked about how they're already paying more than 50% of all the taxes, and the top 1% pay like 90% of the taxes. I don't remember the numbers right here as I sit here, but it's like profound. So like, well, where's the fair shares? Like, how much more? I just don't understand where people's brains are. I mean, like, how can I put this? Like, it'd be one thing if the rich were not paying like anything, right? They everyone was only paying 5%, and the middle class was paying 90% of the taxes or something. But it's not that. It's the exact opposite. They're the ones that are already paying out the wazoo. So it's just a bizarre thing. And I wanted to take it to task, but the comment disappeared before I could save it. So now I'm saving them. Oh yeah, and of course, he threatened harm on me. That's that's the way these people are, right? Because they're so self-righteous. They're basically Jesus, right? And that's how innocent they are. And so if they decide to raise their fist to strike somebody else, you can be absolutely sure it's completely righteous. That's who these people are. So anywhere, so you had a chance to kind of read here. This guy, I mean, it's a whole page. It doesn't even make sense. Like, again, he doesn't even, he thinks I'm rich, like right down here. Let's see, where was it? Because here it is. Because contrary to what you rich people think, us poor people might not be as ignorant as you rich people seem so often to assume. No space, no capital N, whatever. I mean, let's not get too. We don't need to be too pedantic, do we? So anyway, he thinks I'm rich. I'm not rich. I'm just a guy who can do rudimentary math. God forbid. God forbid someone can figure out how to add up our total debts, the total GDP, and figure out how many years it would take for that actually to be paid down. I mean, what is my problem? There must be something seriously wrong with me, right? Anyway, here we got, let's see. You can sit there and spot off on how we should be grateful to the guy who's usually got our foot on the neck. Well, you know what? If that's the way you feel, there's a solution. Go create your own business. There, done. Problem solved. STFU. That's, just stop your crying. If you don't like it, it's America. Go start your own business. Yeah, maybe you won't be as wealthy as you would have been if you worked for this rich guy, but at least his neck, his foot would not be on your neck. And then you can quit your bitching. Anyway, the other guy I wanted to respond to even more. This guy, I don't know, maybe he's doing a little bit of weed. Let's see, I should go and find them and just thank their self-mercenary, soulless asses for the millions that lost everything. The housing bubble. Right. Well, yeah, so, okay. So, hey, I sympathize this. I'll read this part here. According to you, I should run out and go find the bankers that caused the housing bubble collapse, which damn near caused the collapse of our entire economy, which caught me up in, and I lost everything. Hey, you and me both, brother. It took me forever to get out of the house that we had. We were underwater by tens of thousands of dollars. It took us forever to recover from that. But it's not the rich, air quote. It is the bankers. And not just any bankers. It's the central bankers. So, and something that I don't see in his diatribe here is join me in ending the Federal Reserve. Well, because that would be intelligent, right? That would be having the right enemy. It's our monetary policy that's the problem. The fact that there are people who have wealth that they don't, as a sanitized principle, isolated principle, will say that's not the problem. It's the central bankers. Anyway, you're reading this along with me. I don't need to. The yacht race around the island of Crete when the biggest environmental catastrophe in history of our race. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. Own sitting president protected that little worm. Sorry, I don't know what that's referring to. Maybe we should go tell the 9 families whose fathers died on the rig because of that piece of garbage. Are we talking about like the Gulf of Mexico thing or the Exxon Valdez? What are we talking about here? 9 people who died on that rig. Well, what the hell does this even? What does this have to do with being mad at rich people? I mean, what's? See, this is one of my other problems with these people. Like, try to. It's all emotion, right? All caps, right? Bam, all caps. It's not about, hey, can we have a sensible tax policy that is actually sustainable, and that would require us to actually look at the math, right? We would have to figure out how much revenue, the gross domestic product, figure out how many people there are, how many years it would take, and then figure out a tax policy that would make sense to that. And you can have that conversation pretty dispassionately because it's all just numbers. But no, I guess this guy thinks that if you yell, that makes him just a better person than the rest of us. Because he means well, folks. Let's see here. A word of advice, my friend, you should be very careful of the groups of people you try to run that rap on. It's starting to sound like a threat. Oh, yeah, here it is. Not to mention, some of us might just kick your ass. Did you know? Of course you don't know, but I have an entire folder, on my computer that I have maintained for almost at least 25 years, very long time. And it's full of liberals threatening to kill me. Of course it is, because they're the tolerant ones, right? It's full of socialists threatening to do me harm. It's full of the peaceful, loving leftist in his lived reality threatening to bludgeon me. And I have instructed my family on occasion, as it seems warranted, that if anything happens to me, the very first thing they should do is they should go and they should check that file. The usernames are there. Often I'm able to also get their IP address because I'm a genius, and the people I'm dealing with usually aren't. And I say, check that file. Start there if anything were to happen to me. But the thing is, you're talking about a complete stranger here, and you're like, not to mention some of us might just kick your ass. Well, the truth is, on any given day, just about anybody can kick just about anybody's ass. I mean, that's true. There's no question about that. But the other person, that's just like statistics. It could very well be that the person you're talking to is an MMA champ. Ooh. CC Pulowski. You didn't think about that, did you? Want to come over here and flex and find out? Is that what you want to do? You just want to pull that lever and see what just kind of a man you're threatening? Or maybe SEAL Team 6. Who the hell do you think you're talking to? You don't know. This is why this kind of stuff is like toxic to society, right? What's the Tom Cruise line? Your mouth is writing checks that your body can't cash, and the truth is this kind of discourse, like trying to threaten people here, like it's not going to change the analysis that I gave, which was just simple math. There is no money. There is no money. We have no money. It's fake. It's manufactured. It's hyperinflated. And it's not the rich people that did it. Rich people, like, as an isolated kind of idea. It's the central bankers and the leftists who insisted on funding every single left-wing cause that they possibly can, regardless of whether or not anyone could actually afford it. So yeah, I don't really I'm not worried about CC Pawlowski because while I am not strictly speaking a Republican, not strictly speaking an anarchist, very heavily libertarian, I am a very, very firm proponent of the U.S. Constitution, including the Second Amendment. So, by golly, folks, if you're going to be spouting off, the left has this problem, and I'm just telling you, if you pick the wrong enemy, it's probably going to be you that suffers because you guys are not impressive specimens, physically or mentally. And anyway, I guess I'm not going to go too far off making fun of you guys. And I don't know this Pawlowski guy. He sounds to me like a 65-year-old who's seen some terrible stuff. I mean, I hear in a system where 0.1% of the population control 99% of the world's circulating currency on any given fiscal day. I mean, I totally sympathize with that. Yeah, but that's not the rich. That's the central bankers, yo, homie. Come on. I mean, anyway, I'm done with that. And I'm done with this live cast. I have achieved my aims. I wanted to welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for joining us and joining me. We'll get some content up. Follow me on Rumble. I am now saving all comments. So if you want to leave something that's violent, by all means, feel free. I will save it for posterity and put it in the list of other people. But wouldn't it be so much better if you would just do the math? Just do the math. Just do the math. Say, like, this is what we want to buy. This is how much money we have. If the number on the right is far, 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 far smaller than the number on the left, then the problem is not the rich people. The problem is somebody, probably you, want to spend the money that we don't have. And B, you got the central bankers who are out there capitalizing on this and laughing literally all the way to the bank. And it's kind of ironic, actually. The central bankers love the socialists. They just think they're the cat's meow, because the central bankers are not afraid of the socialists, because socialists just want to borrow more money, and the central bankers are going to be there to lend them that money at a lot more interest. And the socialists are never going to be able to track these people down, the Rockefellers, whomever you want to name here. Yeah, I was going to start listing names. Maybe I'm trying to wrap this up. So I mean, instead you direct your ire at people in the middle like myself, whose only flaw is we can count, we can do math, and the math doesn't add up, and we know who's distorting the math, so we should stop doing that. Okay, so thanks again for watching. We're gonna wrap this up, and we'll get some more content. Find me on Rumble, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, etc., etc., etc. You know the game. Have a good night.